But you play a lot of instruments, like what you.
You know, I mean, but mainly I played guitar on the Desert Sessions, and a little bit of piano, and like there was this weird, funny, like cheap organ thing called the Fun Machine. Worst sounding instrument ever, but it was just fun to play. It's like a little rinky-dink thing that we found in the street.
No way.
Yeah. So, yeah, and one song started because somebody turned on one of the old synthesizers, and it would happen to be going, and it just turned into this whole song.
Great.
So it's stuff like that, you know. Whatever inspiration hits, you know, you just go with it. And
Could you describe the music? Because that was the first thing I asked when people grabbed me and asked me about the Desert Sessions. They were like, "Well, that's impossible, but it's great for driving."
Yeah, sure, why not?
When we drove up, like here, we had 2 sessions of Desert Session in the car. Like, whoa, this is really good music for driving.
I agree, because you know what, you have to drive to get to the desert, you know, and it's pretty barren, and it's like there's such a thing as driving music, and that's probably a good way of describing it, you know. Yeah.
A different subject. I saw the Queens of the Stone Age a lot of times in really small clubs, and also with like maybe 15 people watching and not really getting it because, well, whatever. And Josh was always like, well, I don't give a fuck because I want to do the music I like. And if 5 people turn up, that's okay. Or if 60,000 people turn up, that's also okay. But then you see that the band becomes a great success. So is it an important thing to do, you think? To do your own thing?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, you know, it's like you got to be happy. You got to be able to sleep at night. You know, I've done lots of work, you know, with other people where, you know, it's like, you know, I'm not so into this, you know, but sometimes you do it for a paycheck, you know, sometimes you're just stuck, you know, creatively. But yeah, you have to do your own thing. I mean, it's its own reward at first, you know, and then if anything else comes of it, then that's just...
It shows that people are a lot more into experimental music, I think. I think a lot of people underestimate the taste and the knowledge that people have of music.
Well, I think that having a spirit of something that's experimental, you know, maybe, you know, because, I mean, you listen to, like, the stuff that made our records sell, which are pop songs, you know, they really are. But I think it's the playing and the performance behind them that really make it what it is, interesting, you know. So, I mean, I do think that that music fans are smarter than like what, you know, American radio might play. You know what I mean? I really do think that they are looking for something.
So,
you know.
Do you think that maybe the internet is also due to the great success of the Queens?
Well, just the knowledge of the band, and, you know, yeah. I mean, I think even though, you know, the downloading of music hurts our pocketbook, you know, I mean, we lose money. You know, it kind of sells itself, because if it's good, then people go, hey, check this out, you know, and then they distribute it for you. So it's kind of a weird, almost blessing in disguise and a curse as well, you know. I don't know, we can't stop it, you know. I mean, it's too late.
So on the other hand, I mean, like Tool sold like 100,000 copies in Holland, which is a lot. That's a lot of records. They didn't get any airplay whatsoever, just on alternative radio. And everybody in the industry was like, well, how did they pull this off?
Well, I think that now that this is the case with the internet, bands have to go out on tour, and they have to play in front of an audience, and they have to be good. That's just it. I mean, especially now. You know, I mean, you can get away with it before. You can make your record on Pro Tools and auto-tune your vocals and edit all your drums together and, you know, loop the parts and you know, not really, you know what I mean? It's like you can piece it together, but if you can't cut it live, you won't sell, you know, you won't last anyways, you know.
Yeah, and live audiences are getting bigger and bigger all the time. It's like,
yeah.
Marketing trend, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tool sold, you know, 1 million records on Undertow with, you know, very little radio play, and just toured their asses off, you know. And they will continue to sell records that way.
Hey, what's the new Queens of the Stone Age record going to be like?
Well, I think, you know, since there have always been kind of guests on the records before, we're going to treat this as a band. Joey.
So the final lineup will be
5 people that we have right now. It's Joey, myself, Mark Lanigan, Nick, and Josh. And we've just been kind of playing the songs, just acoustic guitar, and I did a little demos on my computer, and we're just kind of living with them until we do pre-production for maybe 2 weeks. We'll rehearse them, and then we'll just cut it live, and no bullshit, just do it, So that's kind of the idea. That's where it's going to start anyways. We'll see where it ends up, though.
Hey, what's the magic behind Queens of the Stone Age? Because everybody loves it. Everybody wants to join in and play. I mean, there's no bad feelings whatsoever around the band.
Everybody's an individual in this thing, Everybody can play really well. I think that helps, and there's always some kind of running funny joke or something, There's always some kind of sense of humor that makes it fun, But there's also a depth to it where what's attracted me to it, So, I think there's just a creative energy around this thing,
Were you guys actually surprised by the success? I mean, because you really blew up, especially in Holland.
I think that if you expect to have success, you're kind of setting yourself up to be, disappointed, because it doesn't always happen. When it happens and you're not expecting it, it's a great joy. So it's we don't expect it, It's great that it happens, and we appreciate it, and that's really it.
The song I really like is First It Giveth. I think that's a really good song on the album.
I do too. It's going to be the next single, at least here.
Did you guys already also record some more songs to put on this album which aren't put out yet, so we can maybe get them on 7-inch, there?
Well, actually, we did some covers for B-sides for First It Giveth.
Which covers?
We did Cramps covered. We did The Most Exalted Potentate. And we did a cover of Subhumans, Wake Up Screaming.
Why the Subhumans?
It's funny. I remember hearing them when I was a kid, and Josh and Nick are huge fans, Like they would just, Nick will put it on before we play, So it's just happened to be something that's stayed in the record collection over the years, So, and nobody, we're just trying to distribute, We're trying to tell people about it, Like check it.
Play it live too?
We haven't started playing those live yet because we haven't had the chance to even rehearse. We've been on the road, doing festivals where you don't get sound checks or any of that stuff. So, but we plan on doing it in the set.
What other music do you guys like?
Like Bjork. I've been listening to a lot of Bauhaus lately. Bauhaus, I don't know, Chet Baker, lots of early punk, GBH, Ramones, Roy Orbison, Johnny Cash, anything, Miles Davis, Coltrane.
But it's always edgy.
It's always got to have something going on, rather than just, a hook.
Thanks.